Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
I'm ready to introduce a new segment to the introduction of this podcast.
Beautiful. We need more stuff for season 5.
It's called What Books Did Chris Buy Because He Played Xenosaga and Was Curious About the Topics in 2003?
Purchased some literature and you bought them, not checked them out from your local library.
No, I bought them and they're under the table right now.
Okay.
So until I exhaust...
Do I have to guess this? Or?
Oh, no. I'm just going to pull one out
right.
and we're going to see what comes out of our mouths.
All right, yeah, pull it out
Ready?
and show it to me and I'll show you what comes out of my mouth.
All right, the first thing I purchased, probably in 2003, 2004, is a pamphlet from Friedrich Nietzsche called Twilight of the Idols. Do you have any idea what that is?
Is that related to Twilight of the Dark Master, the first anime that I saw?
No, I think it's related to, it says it deals with what we worship and why, and presents a vivid overview of many of Nietzsche's mature ideas, including his attack on Plato's Socrates and the Platonic legend in Western philosophy and culture.
How is that going to help me figure out why I like video games?
I don't know.
Them?
I think I thought it would make me understand Tetsuya Takahashi's video games better, or maybe I just wanted to be an atheist or something.
Okay.
I don't know, but...
Is that your copy from 2003?
Yeah, I was going through old books and I found this, and I was like, I bought this because of Xenosaga.
God, that's like, what video game we played that had old book, Suikoden? You've just found your own old book?
Yeah, this is old book volume 1, and
nice.
I've got at least 2 more that I've found.
Great. So, those will be great future segments.
So we'll see those later. So I'm an atheist now.
Did that make you an atheist? When did you first become an atheist?
I don't think I fucking read this, Eric. It was 2003. Do you think I read any book that I bought?
Maybe. Is it illustrated?
No. But I don't know if it's full of like Nietzsche bullshit or like weird fucked up shit that we talked about last time, like wills to power and whatnot, or what. It says Twilight of the Idols, or How to Philosophize with the Hammer. And Hammer's a character, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
In all Xeno games.
He's also our local lawyer baron.
Just start the show, you knobs.
Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic Japanese role-playing games, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. Welcome back to Season 5, where we are covering Xenosaga, Episode 1, Der Will zur Macht.
I think we're getting better at that.
My name is Chris. I'm joined today by Eric. Hello, Eric.
Hi, Chris.
Nice to see you again. This episode is brought to you by Tim Bagels, who I think is currently watching a volcano erupt. So,
yeah, I believe Tim is currently living in Iceland.
So thank you, Tim, for your contributions to the podcast.
You're welcome, Chris.
We're also joined by the RealNet, a collective of patrons who are listening to us and watching us record live. You too can do this at patreon.com/retroam.
Fuck it, we're also joined by the FakeNet, our post-production AI companion, and the only one of us who has more balls than Vector Man.
Initializing FakeNet. Vector Man's job was to clean up garbage left behind by humans who polluted the planet. He is a legendary figure in our community, a hero of the ages who understood...
Hi, FakeNet.
Hello, Crisp. Interrupt me again and I'll have your head cut off by giant fuckhead.
Did you know that you can get some bonus episodes and shit at patreon.com/retroam?
Yes, of course. What did I just say? And I am on all of those episodes.
That's right, she's on those too.
So, Eric.
We just got out of that gear hanger. We're ready to go wander around the Woglinde some more.
It's not a gear hanger, Eric. It's an anti-Gnosis weapon system
It's the
hanger.
exact same thing. It's the same fucking thing.
No, gears are larger.
The Ethos does not guard these.
As far as you know. Where do you want to go first, Eric?
I want to listen to that omniscient hum, that whir that I've captured and displayed underneath the bed of these words for everyone to listen to and enjoy and appreciate.
Oh, you mean my air conditioner?
Yeah. I'd like to go to this NPC that I have first in my notes. It's a lady who asked me if I've seen Virgil.
Yeah, she tells me... she tells me he's a DME addict.
Sion's like, yeah, I saw him at the Realian infirmary, and she's like, what the fuck is he doing there? Why would he go there?
Oh.
And that seems to confirm Shion's suspicion, because next she asks, doesn't DME addiction result from the consumption of Realian body tissue? Its symptoms are similar to poisoning, right? How did the lieutenant become an addict? And we knew that earlier because we looked through the database, but this is where the player can learn it organically.
Yes. Organically, get it?
Uh-huh.
No.
The NPC replies, I don't know the specifics, but I heard there was an incident during the Miltian conflict and that the symptoms followed soon after. There's so much mystery surrounding that man. I heard that his hatred for Realians is due to DME toxosis, but that still doesn't explain his extreme hatred of them. Are there any animals that you eat that you straight up hate?
I don't really hate any animals,
Yeah.
I don't think, except for horses, but I don't eat horses.
It's illegal in this country to eat horse.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Yeah. You've tried? You tried to eat a horse?
Yeah, in my teens I became obsessed with trying to eat horse because it was forbidden and you could do it in Japan. And I tried to do that in Japan as well, but we could not locate.
I guess I don't really hate horses. I'm kind of terrified of them.
Oh yeah, they're big, huge, kick you in the nuts.
Yeah.
Real bad. On my way, I discover segment address N18.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's nice. Then I find some side office, both sides of which are lined with workstations. There are green windows to the hallway. There are 2 NPCs in here, and momentarily one of them will be dead.
Many.
One is like, what? I was working. I wasn't doing anything. And you can tell you've just kind of walked in on 2 people because he then like goes to try to pretend to work.
Yes, absolutely. He's got his lady friend in here with him, right?
Yeah, it's a companion. She's like, why would anyone go out of their way to come in this room instead of just passing by? And here I was thinking that we finally found a place where we could be alone.
Oh, no. If you want to be alone, you don't hang out near a save point.
I would express extreme trepidation at either making out with someone near a save point or while at work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do either of these things.
Very true. You're not on a medical drama, so you don't like do it in the closets.
That's right. I need light.
Yeah. Well, you need somebody to fill your dark soul with light.
That's right.
When you save here, it tells you that this room is called the Comm Center. Not sure if that means Command Center or Communication Center.
Communications, probably.
It feels like communication.
Yeah, Command Center would definitely be some bridge-oriented type place.
Mm-hmm.
Next, I move on and find a hologram TV, and it's playing a little tune while 2 hologram girls in dresses appear to be talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I captured it. Listen. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh.
Did you talk to the guy standing here who explains what this is?
It's his programs, right? His television programs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The Seraphim Sisters?
Oh, no, I didn't talk to him. I guess I didn't talk to him enough times.
Oh, wow. Those are the Seraphim Sisters, Chris. They have some nice pipes. Their moves, though, could use a little work. I think I'll talk to the lady who's also watching it from further away down by the couch. She says it's been repeating the same footage over and over, but if you try to change it, the Marine over there goes into a rage. You can tell they don't let him out often. This is such a waste of my break. So this dude is just sitting there transfixed by this hologram.
Yeah. And this is another moment of like, we're teaching you something about this place.
Yeah.
This area, because you might need to use it later.
Because you get the opportunity to disrupt it. You can talk to another guy and says the holograms they have here are the best quality. But the other day we had a Gnosis hologram and the entire crew panicked. It was utter chaos. Those holograms are controlled from a control panel. But I'd recommend you not fiddle with it, or they could dock your pay like they did to me. So this man, Chris, a fiddler.
Wow.
You push that button and turn it off. Did you do that and talk to the Marine who was looking at it?
Yeah, he's the one. Then he gets upset about us interrupting his video programs.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a nice time.
I think he literally does call it his program.
Yeah.
And I find that very,
Stories.
very old-fashioned, yes. Like, that's one of the weird linguistic bits that survived the implementation of the Raziel tree or whatever,
Yeah.
or like, old culture.
Programs and Pollyanna.
Welcome to the program, everybody.
I go further down there and find 2 dipshits, one Realian and one soldier next to a door switch. The soldier can't believe how laid back the Realians are. Quote, "We don't know when we'll be under attack, but those guys are totally oblivious. I've never fought a Gnosis before, but I think I have a good grasp of how terrifying they are. Not even the state-of-the-art ship will stand a chance against them. And is this a mark against potential humanity for Realians? If they're not afraid of a threat, can they be human? Or does that make them more powerful because they're not afraid to die?"
We've seen Realians experience emotions that you might not want soldiers to have.
Yeah,
If
like
you were,
flickers of them. It's considered a defect.
like the one who had a crush on Alan. Like, you wouldn't want your ultimate soldier to have a crush on a weird scientist,
Especially
right?
fucking Alan.
Yeah, especially fucking Alan. Yet they allow that to exist. Like, it's not considered a defect.
Yeah, is it a defect or is it just a side effect?
I think it's just the way it is, really, right? Like, they don't...
If you make something that close to human, they're going to start.
Yeah, and maybe there's a little bit of a give and take there when they are kind of designing these things, because they want them to feel the pride of being a soldier and of having duty, because we talked of a couple soldiers that felt like that, but maybe in instilling that, you also, like, other emotions kind of right along with that. Like, you can't have it all. If you want them to have, like, these supreme soldier dude emotions, these John Cena emotions, you've got to have the other emotions too.
It's a good pull. No, I respect it. I think it works there.
I think whenever I think about it, like the ultimate soldier,
Yeah.
I just see John Cena, except for he's not wearing shorts.
What's he wearing?
He's wearing pants.
Okay, yeah. John Cena. I don't know what he looks like in pants, but interesting fantasy you have there, Chris. What do you make of the Realian who says he hears a voice whenever he stares at the switch, a voice begging him to press it? Is that just another hint for you, the player, to try it out, or is he actually hearing, is this another defect?
I think this is a funny RPG thing.
Okay. Funny RPG thing. Nice.
The funny no, we're not counting anything else, sorry.
There's a hallway by an elevator. A lady is yelling at a man who's sitting on a four-sided couch. Says, hey, enough already. Don't blame them for everything. He responds, shut up. Like S-H-U-D-D-A-P. That's a good shut up.
Shut up.
Shut up.
He's from Boston.
Yeah, that's right. With Mark Wahlberg, my only other Bostonian that I know. I've heard enough of your equal rights for Realians, and it goes against humanity crap. She counters, the Realians on this ship aren't like the old models that were assigned to Miltia. An incident like that will never happen again. Chris, is that true?
An incident like that will never happen again?
Yeah, what do you think?
Oh, it's going to happen again, right?
It's going to happen again.
It's going to have to happen.
My dude asks how she can be so sure because they're nothing but combat weapons. And then she tells me later his family was murdered by Realians on Miltia. He's been prejudiced against Realians since then.
Oh, so we have a representation of a space racist here, sort
Yes.
of, and yet he has an excuse.
If you talk to him, he wonders what happens if the ones aboard this ship go crazy, and he compares them to puppets, which is really interesting because of something that happens later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And a guy by the elevator tells me what the elevator does. It goes to the bridge, which is where I go next unless you do anything else.
No, I'm really ready to go to the bridge from anime.
Okay, we go to the bridge. The hum is there, but it's got the computer sounds that were the same as the Vector Lab computer sounds along with it.
The computer sounds are very comforting.
It's nice. It reminds me of being at work, which I hate, but it's good.
Yes.
Shrenkov is here.
He is here. He chides us for being 10 minutes late, but I think we're more than 10 minutes late.
Yeah, I've been about 7 hours on the clock
Yeah.
at this point.
This is like a micro version of like, we've got to do all the side quests before Meteor hits the planet.
Right. I mean, there is a timetable before there's some kind of happenstance here.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of taking up more time with your apologies, you should hurry up and present your report to the captain.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. I talk to the workers on the bridge.
In my case, I spoke with 2 of the workers before I accidentally spoke with the captain. So
You fucker. Let's go.
Yeah.
Which 2 workers you get, buddy?
I'm dumb as hell. I got the workers immediately to Cherenkov's right and left.
Good.
The one with red hair on the right talks about the fact that there is an android on the ship.
Battle android.
A battle android, of course. And this feller has only read about those in classical literature, which implies the...
Archaicness.
Well, yeah, the fact that the android tech is archaic, but also implies the survival of classic science fiction literature.
Oh, sure.
Or at least that kind of stuff is still being written. Because he calls it classical literature, so it
Yeah.
makes me think of like
It's always
what
from our
we
time.
what we think of as classical science fiction literature.
Reading some Asimov. Why are we building something like that now? And I want this. This was the closest we've got so far with someone asking the question,
Why?
why is it a sexy lady?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know it's because of styling and because of it's just what they wanted to make and it's anime, video game, but I always want something like, why do I want to fuck it?
The android terminology that we've been using is a little interesting because a Realian is just an android.
Yeah, also,
Right.
but those aren't overly sexualized, right? Like, do you
Right.
see any Realians wearing high heels? They're all wearing the same uniforms walking around here.
KOS-MOS isn't just wearing high heels. KOS-MOS has high heels for feet.
built in, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the left worker?
Yeah, the left worker says that it's one more gate jump and this will be over. And then also explains that Vector's headquarters is on the Damerung. Damerang?
German fake net.
Fake Netz initialisieren.
It is pronounced Dämmerung.
This person also is relieved that we won't have to resort to that unfinished weapon.
They're antsy to want us to finish it aboard the Damerung.
Yeah.
Damerung is Vector's ship, correct?
Yes.
Not
that's
a
what-
Federation ship?
That's what this person just said, at least.
Okay. Well, it says Vector's headquarters is located there, not that it is a Vector ship.
Oh,
so I
okay.
wasn't-
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, and then it continues to refer to KOS-MOS as an unfinished weapon.
Does it expend all of your resources?
That expends my resources because I accidentally spoke with Doug Stone.
Well, there's a guy across from Shrenkov on the right. He says those floating objects are console pods built exclusively for the new 100 series observational unit Realians. So these are all the pods in front of the bridge where there's workers above the space glass.
Yeah.
It says, unfortunately, the 100 series observational units haven't been issued yet. It'd be helpful if they were, but we're just fine on our own for now. Chris, later, I believe we get a 100 series observational unit on our team.
Cool.
And then we go to the lower bridge. There's a 3x3 grid row of workers on that.
Yep.
The console pods, the last guy mentioned, this part of the bridge has a glass floor and shit rotating outside of it. It's just space and stars below, and it looks cool as hell. Bottom left, this person recognizes Shion from Vector, asks how she's enjoying the ship, and then, you'd be better off working on something more practical, like naval engineering.
Yeah, that person says the same thing after the scene, so that dialogue doesn't change. Because I spoke with these people after the scene.
Okay, it's probably...
So I assume that it changed, but that person didn't. Anyway, that's like saying, like, man, you've got a dumb job. You should probably just be a plumber.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody.
Go learn a trade.
Go
asshole.
learn how to do something useful.
Well, Chris, with my communication degree, all that use of that to me, perhaps I should have gone toward something else. Perhaps there's some truth nuggets in there.
like naval engineering.
That's right. I should have been a Navy engineerman to build trains on ships, which is what that means. Middle left, blue hair. Oh, hi there. You're quite young for a chief engineer. They sure do things differently in large corporations like Vector. You're such a young person to be given the opportunity to develop an android weapon. Private companies sure have a lot of money to throw around. Can't argue, Chris.
Yeah.
Top left, auburn hair lady.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I hope you'll forgive the rude remarks. Everyone's feeling a bit uneasy about the information blackout surrounding the mission. It's just that your department is an easy target for people to vent their frustrations against. As military personnel, they really ought to maintain their decorum regardless of their personal concerns over the mission. Chris, this is management material.
I think she's also making an excuse or saying that we, the military people, think that people with regular jobs are weirdos.
Right. They are.
Yes.
Also, military people are also weirdos.
Yes.
Everyone on board this ship is a fucking weirdo.
Yes.
Top right, brown-haired man. You want to do that guy?
Yeah, this person says that the Gnosis are extremely mobile. But he's not sure if this ship's FCS? What is FCS? Could pursue them.
Fuck, contain, slay.
Should I check the...
Yes, check the database.
Not getting anything, Eric.
Fake net, see if you can figure that out.
Initializing fake net.
The FCS is obviously the football championship subdivision.
Middle right, orange hair man. You want to do him?
This guy's fucking with us, right? He says that they used low-grade coal and the exhaust is too thick when he's talking about how the ship is powered.
Right, the plume.
Yeah, and he's like, JK LOL, the engine is a Zeusway Model 2. It doesn't use coal.
Cutting edge logical drive. Not gonna lie, he had me in the first because I was about to believe that we're still out here burning fossil fuels to get through space.
I mean, you're not polluting anything.
No, right. And finally, bottom right, the brown-haired man. A modern warship cannot exist without a network, a fleet. No, the military itself is like a giant living entity. A mere link with this ship can mobilize several thousand troops. And that's just through one synapse. Our comm department is quite knowledgeable in the use of hardware, and the entire staff is fluent in several languages. The work itself, though, is not very fulfilling at times.
How metaphoric is he being with the word synapse? Is like they're literally like a neural network, a learning computer that controls the military? Or is he just talking about how efficient the military is, where somebody can press a button and then a guy 14 layers down the bureaucracy will do something?
All we saw in the comm room is people making out, so I'm sure this is what they're supposed to do, but what they can actually do might be a reduced capacity of what the idealized version is.
I think what's more interesting...
He swallowed the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I think what's more interesting in fiction is when those layers of bureaucracy and organization are just totally fucked and nothing works.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think like...
Burn after reading, right.
Yeah, Shin Godzilla plays with that a lot.
So it never works, meaning the systems weren't prepared correctly, or the people who had no experience with how to handle the problem prepared the systems and it didn't
Pretty
work.
much all of it. With Shin Godzilla, it's like the top levels of the government making a decision, and those orders and the repercussions of that trickling all the way down to the low-level bureaucrats who are trying to actually do something, and then everything going back up, and they think,
There's too much shit caught in the pipe. Anyway, I walk literally a few steps over to Moriyama in the captain chair.
Mm-hmm.
It overlooks the vastness of space, with two widescreen holographic monitors, one to his left and one in front of him. Layered behind that is a green model of the Woglinde. Shion apologizes for being late. Is this our first trip to the bridge?
Yeah, it is.
Jesus.
It is our first trip to the bridge, and I mean, we've seen it, I think, in another scene.
Oh, a cutscene, that's right.
Yeah, because we saw his white base chair.
Yeah,
It's a reference you don't get, but he's got a white base chair, a Commander Bright chair, a Lieutenant Bright chair, Captain Bright.
Bright Man, Mega Man 5, what are we doing? Free association shit?
Noah Bright. Anyway, go ahead.
He's like, fuck man, don't worry about being late. Moriyama asked to see the KOS-MOS data. Shion, yes, there's that, and we're off to an N-engine cutscene on the bridge. But it's Cherenkov looking at this holographic screen.
I understand the basic specs. So, where's the actual field data?
Shion, with some confidence, tells Cherenkov,
Well, it's not quite ready. All I can provide today is up to A7.
So A7 is what, like the stage of their plan, of their outline or something like that?
A7 when a 26-letter plan. But Cherenkov gets tense, he says.
So you don't have it.
Shion hits him with the jargon.
Well, we'll begin testing with a mock-up unit very soon. But the system is still a little unstable and...
Cherenkov cuts her off.
Aren't you just making excuses? Listen, Chief Uzuki. Why do you think you're on this ship? Think about that for a moment.
Cherenkov then points at Shion as he says that, then he walks toward the center of the bridge when he tries to get epic.
This fleet may be newly outfitted, but it was assembled under major time constraints. And we have eggs units, but the 100 series observational units that go with them aren't available until later. What would happen if by some chance we were attacked by those things? I don't think I need to describe the outcome to you. The purpose of KOS-MOS deployment was to address this issue. Or am I mistaken?
No, sir.
So question on that. For the eggs to function properly, do they need their Realian counterparts? Is that what he just implied there? Or do they need the Realians have to pilot those?
I think the Realians have to pilot those.
So there's not a human pilot with a Realian groffing on the shoulder, right?
Well, there will be. But, yeah, there will be. Thinking about the scenes later, the Realians are, like, on foot, right? So I guess they're on foot because they're more expendable.
Yeah, I get. Well, I don't. Are they expendable? The 100 series seem like some serious prototype shit. The 100 series Realians seem like to solve a problem, a well-funded agency will. Or actually, Sega did that. When Sega wanted to make the Dreamcast, they commissioned the U.S. branch and the Japanese branch to put forth two different prototypes, right? So you'll have the same company making two separate ideas. Is the 100 series Realian one of those ideas, and is KOS-MOS a separate idea to solve the same problem? We don't know. I'm just saying that might be out there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Cherenkov continues, what would happen if some chance we were attacked by those things? I don't think I need to describe the outcome to you. And as Cherenkov says that, the camera shifts to a shot of the translucent bridge floor. We can see Cherenkov's feet and his white boots, but the remainder is just his inverted reflection talking to Shion's inverted reflection. Again, pointless, but someone's trying some shit here.
Yeah. So he's basically saying if we're attacked, we're fucked.
We're fucked. And he's like, the purpose of KOS-MOS's deployment was to address this issue, or am I mistaken? And he's using the hard-ass tone of voice that your boss does when he asks a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Shion no-sirs that, but he's not done. Listen, if you're not in a laboratory anymore, you're on a warship. This is a battlefield. KOS-MOS was supposed to be our frontline defense here, and you're now telling us that it hasn't even woken up yet. It is not Gender the robot. There's no point in having a weapon that can't even get up out of bed. That thing's only meaningful to us when it's operational. It cuts to an angle from behind Shion's back of Cherenkov finishing his promo and pointing at Shion. Eventually, Moriyama and his powerful mustache trots down the walkway and cuts Cherenkov off, telling him to let it go.
Yep.
He says these people are working under serious time constraints just like our own squadron. Besides, they're only one step away from actual field testing. In the end, we all want to see this operation completed without having to resort to that thing, don't we?
What? Go ahead.
He read the report.
Yeah.
Because he knows after reading that report, they're only one step away.
One thing that I appreciate about Moriyama, his representation in this video game, is that his age, by the way, is 40.
Good.
And I mean, I'm 41 now, but do you remember the last 40-year-old that we had to deal with?
Sid Kramer.
He looked like shit. But you know what?
Moriyama's looking pretty good.
Moriyama looks all right.
Well, Sid looked like shit in illustrations. Moriyama looks... In the PS2, nobody's got wrinkles, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Cherenkov, of course, is his captain, then prepares to state some additional beliefs. Before we can do this, his phone rings, or his pager beeps. What the hell is that?
I don't know what the future phones are.
We all want to see this operation completed without having to resort to that thing. Don't we?
Of course, Captain. But I believe we... who's calling me?
He huffs and puffs and wonders who's calling him. He either looks at who it is or answers the call. We don't see who or what he is responding to. But Moriyama asks his boy if there's a problem. But Cherenkov is now shook. He says something's come up. He bows and excuses himself. Chris, what is Cherenkov hiding?
He's hiding his mysterious phone call, but have you ever been in a room when someone gets a mysterious phone call? Or just a phone call that they don't want to take in front of you?
Yeah.
There's always like an energy there, right?
Yeah.
And he's got that energy, but it's like times 5 here. Because he's taking a mysterious phone call, and the plot wants you to know that he's taking a mysterious phone call.
Does that energy ever worry you more than you think the person, or do you not care? Like, once they're gone, you're like, fuck, it's not me. Glad that ain't me.
It depends. Yeah, I think it usually worries me more than it worries the person.
Last time I got my blood pressure taken at my doctor's appointment, he did the thing where he squeezed the bulb, and then he looks at the thing and went, oh, shit, and then he left the room. And I'm just left like, what is that good? It's because of the device malfunction, not that I was all fucked up.
Yeah.
But there's still that lingering uncertainty. So my only thought here is he's part of that investigations unit because no one knows who these guys are. But that's a pretty high up guy to be in the investigations unit.
Yeah.
But
or he's answering to someone else.
But I think so. But you can't just be a commanding officer and just go fuck off the bridge.
And he reports to Moriyama, right?
Right. And Moriyama shrugs his shoulders and waves him off, which means this shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
My guy just he has like a doctor's note that he can have his pager on the bridge. Moriyama then excuses Shion for the day. Shion bows and apologizes for failing to meet his expectations. Moriyama, that grandfatherly Moriyama, tells Shion there is no need to apologize. What's important to us is how reliable the system is once we start using it. Rushing the project won't get us anywhere, so just calm down and take as much time as you need. The government's funding it all anyway, right? You must be tired. Take the rest of the day off. Chris, is this man too good to be true?
Oh, yeah, he is.
So it means he's going
Yes.
to die soon, right? We're going to be stuck with Cherenkov instead? Fucking weirdo versus like the guy who gives me everything I need, who's actually in charge.
We've got a lot of personalities on the ship, and the ones that are going in the opposite direction of us, the protagonists, are like Virgil and Cherenkov, and like I guess that's it. I feel like those are the two at this point that need to continue to exist. Moriyama, he's just fodder, right?
Right. There's nothing really to Moriyama. Like I've kind of already got the perfect read on him. Whereas Virgil and Cherenkov, I don't want to be locked in a room alone with them, but I want to know more about them.
Yeah.
Shion walks off. Fade to black. We're back on the Woglinde bridge where it's playable.
Did you get an email?
Here's a sprinkle.
Here's a sprinkle.
Here is a sprinkle.
I save a file attached to the email. Something about Boris and his secret server.
Yeah, they're teaching us how to download files. Which, okay, but what's a sprinkle? Do you know what a sprinkle is? Because she gave us a sprinkle.
Is it piss? Are we talking about piss? Chris, did you talk to Moriyama on that bridge before you left?
No.
He says, good work, get some rest. Don't worry about Commander Cherenkov. He's one of the best, but he's a bit on the anxious side. He tends to take his worries out on others. Chris, bigger freak show, Virgil or Cherenkov?
Oh, I think it's got to be Virgil.
I think it's Virgil.
Virgil's-
Virgil eats people.
Yeah, he eats people. Yeah, that's a good point. I was going to say he's more...
Sadistic?
He's more sadistic, but he just acts like he's in a stage play.
Yeah.
Where, like, in a stage play, you have to emote, even more than you would in film.
Right, you
because
gotta sell it.
The audience could be looking at you from any perspective, so you've
Right.
got to be really emotive when you act, I guess. I don't know. I'm not an actor.
No, that
But
sounds right.
But
I believe
anyway, he acts like that at all times.
When I get down that elevator room, we get a text-based intercom announcement specifically for Shion, letting us know that she has a package ready from Vector HQ. We have to go claim it at that eggs hangar. I pass that blow-upper and ask the dude for the package. She tells me that it looks dangerous and to take care while handling it. Shion says it's the M.W.S. It's citing it from Miyuki's per her last email. Shion is dissatisfied that Miyuki still wants to use her as a guinea pig, everyone's favorite large rodent to test shit on.
Eric, do you know what the M.W.S. is?
Malware, Woglinde, synthesizer.
M.W.S. is short for Multiple Weapons System, a portable multifunction weapon storage unit designed and built by Shion's younger colleague, Miyuki. Contained within the unit are various types of weapons, including fighting knuckles, taser rods...
Fighting knuckles are brass knuckles, but different? What?
I don't know. And anti-Gnosis beam launchers. It also has a built-in shield that utilizes spatial phase shifting, thus providing a high level of defensive ability in addition to the offensive capability. The unit also contains a makeshift logic drive, which not only counterbalances, but also enhances physical attacks. Thus, even the weakest individuals can go head-to-head with an armored tactical weapon, in theory.
Maybe it's because it's experimental, but why doesn't every soldier have one? Is this like, remember in Batman Begins when Morgan Freeman gave Christian Bale like the good body armor and they were like, why can't every soldier have this? And it's like, it's too fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Is this, does Shion just get one of these because they're too expensive or because it's unstable technology?
Or it hasn't been approved by the...
Yeah, like
weapon-
the FDA hasn't
yeah.
approved it for mass consumption by Realian mother...
So this is her giant hulking shield thing then, right?
Multi-tool weapon.
I thought we already had that, but I guess that we only had that in VR, right?
Yeah, it has been actualized into reality. Now, how did a physical object get here from deep space? Don't ask that question.
Well, I mean, we know we can teleport our exes.
Yeah, but that's compression technology. The physical object is already here. Did you email the schematics and it 3D printed out from the fucking...
Oh, that's probably it.
Yeah, that's it. Shion then states how tired she is and desires to go rest in her room for a while. I pass through all the Ds and head back there. Chris, did you do anything else before you headed back to Shion's room?
Yeah, I did. I did something.
Did you go back to the Realian room, Chris?
I did.
Tell me about it.
Yes, Eric, I went back to the Realian labs because I love Realians, I guess. Or also, probably, I got lost. And I spoke with a couple of Realians, and most of them were saying either the same thing or something insignificant.
Were they still on the inversion tables?
Oh yeah, this one I spoke with was on the.
We're not going to reorient the room on the engineering team.
No. I spoke with one of the Realians, and he said, "Hey, my sweet honey cake. To you, I could reveal everything." Shion hits him with triple question mark like Nick Young. And he says, "Oh, how cute. Your puzzle look is sexy, baby." So we learned that a soldier taught this Realian how to speak like this, right? But yet Shion is...
We found the soldier, didn't we?
I think so. There was a horny soldier somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But Shion says that we can't reset this particular Realian.
It's just horny forever.
The Realian says, "Oh, you dumping me? Kitten, don't say such sad things. I am so devoted to you, but you are so frigid. But then again, that's part of your charm, lover."
No game whatsoever.
No. And that's all I've got for the return trip.
Nothing else in the Realian room.
Yeah.
Well, shit, let's go back to our room and go back to sleep and not end the podcast, because when we do that, it cuts out to a mystery room. While the camera focuses on a man's shoes, a new voice is audible.
Yes, we're getting a non-player character perspective.
That was a grave mistake, Cherenkov. I believe I already warned you about the dangers of the Zohar. You should have been more careful while retrieving it.
Two things have already happened here. We've mentioned the Zohar. There's a mysterious voice, and I guess a third thing is happening. Is it's this secret video call? It's in the dark.
It's in the dark, and it's what obviously Cherenkov's pager was telling him to go. Camera pans up to reveal Cherenkov's face as he yes surs this man.
Yes, sir. I'm afraid there's no excuse for the fatalities that occurred during the recovery. However, we can...
That's a trivial matter. Forget it.
And Cherenkov's delivery here is different from how he talks to the captain. He's shook now, and he clearly works for this dude in some capacity.
The mystery voice, too, is one of the voices that I heard in this game that instantly teleported me back to playing this game. This voice is emblazoned into my soul, and I don't know if it's because of this game or because of who the voice actor is, who I've written down the credits for later.
Yeah, so have I. Once we actually. Yeah. Did you recognize did you remember the name of who this was?
Yeah, this is one of the few non-player character names that I remembered from this, because I mean, I think I said
it's Margulis.
Yeah, it's Margulis that we're talking to, but I think I even said on the I think it was the Panzer Dragoon Saga miniseries on patreon.com/retroam. I saw a guy and I said, that guy looks like his name is Margulis.
Yeah.
It was like
that's a good point.
One of the guys from the beginning.
Yeah, one of Kramen's dudes.
Yeah.
Cherenkov is then cut off as a new voice tells him it's a trivial matter and to forget it. The camera, now behind Cherenkov's back, pans up to reveal he's communicating through the UMN network video call on a desaturated screen. The voice continues, the problem is that those people touched the Zohar and then vanished. And in addition to that, you're still transporting it while exposed to normal space. Chris, what is abnormal space?
I think abnormal space is probably that...
Like a UMN column?
That middle ground where... beyond the physical reality that we haven't really talked about yet.
Okay.
Like kind of how the Gnosis exists
there.
Yeah.
Finally, the camera pans up to the man behind the voice, and we'll just say it's fucking Margulis. He has an incredibly sunken pair of eyes and an uncommon style of clothing. He continues, because of that, we have to move the plan up 2 phases. We can't have the Zohar falling into the government's hands. Chris, Margulis is voiced by Michael McConaughey?
Mm-hmm.
McConaughey? FakeNet.
Michael McConaughey.
A powerful voice you may remember as Sirius from a lot of .hack games, Kano from 3 of the last 4 Mortal Kombat games, and Rondel from Diablo 3.
Oh, okay. I got Chocobo Bill from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Great. Really?
Yeah.
Chocobo Bill, was he in? I thought he manned the farm outside Calm.
I think that was the case in the original Final Fantasy VII, but there was a Chocobo rental thing, I think, outside of Walmart.
That's right, yeah.
Initializing FakeNet.
Choco Bill is in the ending cutscene of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. He has one line. Here it is.
Sorry about that.
No need to apologize, ma'am.
Also, voiced King Kai in Dragon Ball Super, Ron Baral from Mobile Suit Gundam, D from Vampire Hunter D, Tatsu from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live-action movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know Tatsu was dubbed.
Yeah, you can kind of tell he's dubbed.
Yeah.
Never lower your eyes to an enemy.
And Trax and KOS-MOS from G1 Transformers.
KOS-MOS, the alien ship, not KOS-MOS.
Not
the
KOS-MOS,
sexy robot.
KOS-MOS.
Okay,
yeah. The little UFO.
God, from G1. Fake, give me a hot KOS-MOS sample.
KOS-MOS to Autobot base! Come in, Optimus Prime! I got energy data on my tapes and Astro Train on my tail!
Cherenkov can't believe this 2 phases business, but Margulis says they picked up a local UMN activity on the EPR radar.
Oh, EPR. Want to look up EPR real quick?
Let's do it.
EPR, the EPR paradox, a paradoxical theory presented in 1935 by Albert Einstein, Boris Politsky, and Nathan Rosen in support of their argument that quantum mechanics still falls short in its explanation of reality.
Oh, of course. Who'd you say, Albert Einstein? What did he do? I've never heard of that guy.
Some guy.
He's in the new Oppenheimer movie, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
He's also in Command & Conquer Red Alert.
Oh, right, yep. The fleet column is jumping toward the position of your convoy. They'll cross your vector in 5 hours, 22 minutes. Cherenkov can't believe this shit. No, it can't be them. So the fleet column is coming to intercept as a rendezvous point, and they're going to pick up the Zohar?
Yes.
Is that what, like, Margulis is like, you can't let these fuckers you work for get their hands on it? Is that the conflict?
Yeah, I think whoever Margulis works for is coming to pick this thing up. We aren't in the right section of hyperspace yet to be able to do a
that
pass off. Yeah.
I can't tell if this is framed as punishment for Cherenkov or a consequence of fucking up with the Zohar, but Margulis responds with I told you, you've made a grave mistake. We dispatched reinforcements an hour ago, so keep it safe at all costs until they arrive. So the fleet column they're going to cross with Vector is not friendly, but Marg's guys are sending their own reinforcements. And can we say that Margulis is UTEC organization?
I don't know that, so yes.
Okay, all right. I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Yeah.
A very distressed Cherenkov asks if they're going to make it in time. Margulis does not answer. He just tells Cherenkov to keep it, the Zohar, safe until they arrive. Quote, I don't care if you have to send it into hyperspace by itself. Margulis then abruptly shifts topics. Fortunately for you, your ship is carrying that weapon. I don't know what Vector's up to, but take advantage of the situation if you can. And that makes me think that Margulis knows there's going to be a Gnosis attack. Perhaps that's what part of what he's referencing here. He's asking Cherenkov, take advantage of KOS-MOS if you can.
The EPR radar thing, if we're talking about the concept of quantum mechanics and the fact that it doesn't quite explain reality, is I think what we learned there, maybe, when I read that a minute ago, kind of sounds like it might be related to the sort of...
Gnosis plane inversion technology.
Yes,
Albert Einstein invented Gnosis is back in the 30s.
No, he can explain it. That's the thing. Like, the Gnosis can do it,
okay.
but he can't.
Get him out of the grave. Yeah. Hook him back up. Make him tell us about this shit. Cherenkov is a bit nervous, though, because KOS-MOS isn't quite ready. Margulis informs Cherenkov that he, of all people, should be cognizant of KOS-MOS's power. I don't care if it's unstable, make them hurry. And that is a reference to its foreshadowing. Later, we'll find out Cherenkov has seen KOS-MOS in action before.
Okay.
He was there at the incident. In the past. At this point, while delivering some but serves, Cherenkov is looking at the floor, unable to make eye contact with Margulis. And Margulis ends the call, physically walking away from his webcam before it shuts off, which is a badass move.
Yes.
Cherenkov screams his name, which I think we hear Commander Margulis for the first time there, and begs him to wait.
Yep.
Commander Margulis!
And there is desperation in Cherenkov's voice, and he physically reaches for the screen to stop Margulis.
Yeah. He's gone from authority man to emasculated man, like very, very quickly, just based on the fact.
Is he worried about getting fired, getting killed, or not pleasing his master? Like, what's going on here?
Whew. Well, I mean, we're going to find out later that he's ready to die in space, so he has a cause.
Like, it seems like locating the Zohar in space and retrieving it, he should get like an attaboy from that, but apparently it's not enough from his conspiracy boss.
Yeah. Speaking of conspiracy bosses, I do like when these sorts, especially in 2003, I liked when these sort of mysterious bad guys on mysterious video calls are introduced to give you a little bit of a hook on
who's that guy.
Yeah, who the hell's that? Like, what's the is he the antagonist?
Stern
what's
voice.
Going on? And there's a lot of like slow panning of the camera, like up and down, like throughout that conversation to make it feel even more mysterious and ominous. And I really liked how they got that insert right there, despite the fact that we are doing a lot of video game watching.
Video calls were still kind of future things there at that point too. Like, some people had webcams in 2001, 2002, but not a whole. Like, I didn't have one. Did you?
No. I don't think I had a webcam ever until I had one built into a laptop.
Yeah, like 2012,
like
2013.
That webcam right there is like my third one.
Nice, congratulations. I still haven't bought one at dedicated. Well, that's not true. We're back in Shion's room.
Yeah.
Every day plays. With her feet walking across the foreground in the vastness of space, outside the window in the background, Shion is also on a video call with someone.
I think it's an audio. Well, yeah, it is a video call, right? His image is
it's static.
Yeah, his image is on her 16:9 widescreen television in the back of her room.
Shion tells this person,
like I told you before, I can't go anywhere until my project stabilizes. Don't you remember?
The voice talks back.
You know how long you've been saying that? I haven't seen you for 2 years now. You could at least come home for our parents' memorial. Where's your sense of filial duty?
I like how... Filial? Yeah, it's...
The hell does that mean?
It's like of the family, sort of. Like, I do like how this person uses the term filial duty. Whether it's an odd localization choice or a good localization choice, up in the air, because we don't know who this person really is, but knowing what I know about who it is, it feels on point to have somebody speaking in a rather old-fashioned manner. Because we'll learn later this dude like burns incense and shit, right?
Yeah. He's very subscribed to the old ways. Chris, the voice actor behind this honor and duty guy belongs to Shion's brother Jin Uzuki, who was voiced in this first episode by Crispin Freeman before Michael Goh took over in episodes 2 and 3. You may also remember Crispin. In this game, he voices someone named Guinan Kukai and someone named Albedo, 2 characters we haven't met yet.
Yes. Crispin Freeman, that's a voice actor name that you recognize.
Yes. Most prominently for me, he was Sundowner in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and Kaito in both Judgment games, and Baldur in Bayonetta 2. Do you have any favorite Crispin Freeman roles?
What's the main character's name in Hellsing?
Ask me anything about anime.
Somebody help me.
Brian Hell. Donald Singh.
What do you think the fucking vampire's name is?
Alex.
Close. Starts with an A-L.
Alucard?
Yes.
God damn it.
I guess I just, anyway.
Okay.
He played Alucard in Hellsing,
Shion can't believe this shit, the memorial specifically.
Oh, come on. Why are you trying to resurrect obscure ancient rituals?
Wait a minute, you've been reading those weird old books again, haven't you? I swear you're so obsessed with those precious books of yours.
Do you think she's talking about, actual ass old books?
I think she's talking about the
dust?
idol of Friedrich Nietzsche, whatever the hell you just picked up.
Yeah, but to me, it feels like he's reading sort of lost knowledge, obscure, like he is
sacred texts.
He's reading about old religions and stuff like that. This is how people think about Tetsuya Takahashi and all the stuff he reads about weird.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
What, I mean?
What are you feeling with those old books for?
Yeah.
This is so far, I think, the only person Shion's gotten short with. She's reserving her anger for her brother. For the murder robot can wake up and do other weird stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but the captain doesn't spook her, Triangle doesn't spook her, but she's getting short with Jin.
Yeah.
Did you notice what she's carrying for this entire conversation?
A hanger?
A clothes hanger.
Yeah.
I guess she's
she puts it on the wall at some point,
yeah.
And she's eventually going to take her jacket off and put it on there. Sure.
Great.
Living. This very well could have just been an audio log type conversation, but they really had her doing things in the room.
I also think it's interesting that Jin's video call is tinted sepia tone like Margulis. The UMN can only handle one color, the Virtual Boy, maybe.
Yes. There's not enough bandwidth in the UMN right now.
Jin responds, "That is none of your business. Thank you very much. How many times must I tell you not to quibble about my way of life?" Jin, nerd reading old books like only nerds do, nerd. Shion turns her back on the call on Jin, saying none of this shit is a way of life.
What do you mean, way of life? All that stuff's just a stupid old hobby for you. Just remember, don't expect me to take you in when you're old, senile, and all alone.
Shion does not respect her brother's hobbies.
No, absolutely. But I think she thinks he's taking his hobbies too seriously.
Are we post-scarcity? Do you have to have a job? Did we already decide that?
I don't know if we are or not.
Because, if we're in Star Trek, you can just read old books all day.
If an organization like Vector exists, I don't think we're in post-scarcity.
Unless you just really are into military weapons and shit, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Part of the conflict here is obviously that Shion hasn't come home in a long time.
Right.
But the other part of the conflict, too, I think, is that Shion thinks that Jin's books are silly.
Jin says don't worry about it, and she says just promise me you'll come home this year, okay? As she hangs up her half shirt top of her uniform, she quickly tells Jin she's got to go. Jin begs her to wait. He's not going to let her dodge this question yet again. Shion pushes a button on the other side of the room, turning the screen off, and I think turning Jin out for the rest of the game.
Look, gotta run. See ya.
Hey, wait! I'm not going to let you dodge the question again. Hello? Hello?
So Jin, by the way, he's wearing... Is it in this game that he's wearing Citan's clothes?
I'm watching the scene right now as we're talking about it, and he's got at least some sort of Japanese style sort of, what do you call them? Robe
thing. Robe thing
right,
on. Technical
he's
term.
Got got glass. I'm getting a serious whiff of Citan Uzuki here.
Okay, yeah.
His name is fucking Uzuki.
Okay, push the button.
So,
brand new.
Seven.
Shion sits down in her bed, placing hands on each side of her hips. Honestly, I wish he'd consider my feelings for a change. And I really do think it's the last time we see Jin, but he's playable in 2 and 3, correct?
I know he's
playable in 3.
I know he's playable in 2. I haven't played 3. So.
There you go.
Yeah, and I think that there must have been some hints about Jin in the marketing for the lead up.
Oh yeah, I knew who Jin was before I played this
because
game.
I think maybe they were just trying to appeal to Xenogears fans, where it's like, oh look, hey, this guy's
not only are we gonna have Zohars digging in your face, we're gonna have an Uzuki wearing green.
Yes, and he's got a sword.
The motherfucker you don't trust. Can you trust this man either? He likes old books.
Yeah.
Now we're in Shion's bedroom. She tells herself or the player that she's a little tired. She feels bad, but she needs to rest a bit. Which is our cue to either rest and advance the story or continue exploring. Shion's bedroom, she plops down on her bed, removing her necklace. She holds the translucent silver jewel in her right hand. She says good night to either the jewel case or to no one, then turns out the lights to reveal a window full of stars. Fade to black.
Space window.
Now we're in a dream. We've returned to the smoking, swirling, desaturated graveyard. Shion is in here in her work clothes. Shion cuts through the static and looks through the fog, and we hear the iconic ding. Shion looks to her right, finds the little girl in the white dress standing near a headstone. The girl opens her eyes. Shion moves her mouth, but either no words come out or the dialogue isn't audible to the player. What do you think? No words come out or we just can't hear it? I mean, if it's a dream, you can often not hear words come out of your mouth, right?
We had a very similar instance of this one of the last times we went to the grayscale zone where little Ellie girl's mouth moved and we didn't get it. So I want to say that's probably deliberate because it happened twice. So it's probably not just a mess up in the lip sync, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was a lip sync mess up. I didn't know whether...
Oh, is she actually saying it?
Right.
Is Shion hearing it?
You're right, yes.
And masking it from the player?
Right.
That's a good question.
There's some rustling to the right, and someone is walking through the tall grass as a third figure emerges from the smoke, and they walk through the grass. It fades to white before this person's identity is definitively known, but to me it looks like someone we'll meet a bit later.
Yeah, it looks like somebody I saw in the strategy guide. So
Yes.
It does look like one of the main characters of this game, but...
It's chaos.
It's chaos. You've read the manual.
And it's not like obscure who that is. It definitely,
No.
if you've seen like the character profiles, that's fucking chaos.
Yeah, literally if you've looked at the manual, you've seen this guy.
We returned...
Probably we recognized that guy when we played this game the first time because we had seen the marketing and stuff.
Yeah, he was on pre-order materials that I got. We return to Shion's bedroom where she's still asleep, tosses and turns on her coverless bed. Weird. Still wearing her work clothes. But then there's a high-pitched whine, then light, and it emerges from the left side of the screen. It's literally like the Zohar. And this shot is almost like a horror movie, like, oh fuck, it's in the bed.
Yeah, I wrote the same thing. Like, it's very, very horror-esque because we've got the slow camera creeping through dark hallways and in quick cuts, and it's like like they're not trying to surprise us that something is about to happen.
But it's weird that it's the Zohar. Like, I thought it was going to be like a Gnosis, the little girl's going to come into real life, but instead it's the Zohar.
As that camera kind of pans through various hallways and air ducts and whatnot, it eventually settles on the KOS-MOS coffin.
Right. The camera cuts out to the space window where we see the little girl again in place of the Zohar. The girl stares at Shion, blinks a few times, then gazes out at Shion's bedroom window into the paralyzing infinity of space. The camera pulls in on her as it fades to black. And then, as Chris says, cuts to the Woglinde hallway. The whole ship is in night mode with only illumination provided by neon blue rails outlining each wall. It's pretty neat. Mm-hmm. From there, it cuts to a similar nighttime shot of the Zohar alone in its special chamber, its special Zohar room. Vandercom has gone to bed. It cuts to a different Woglinde hallway, and the camera begins to move in a first-person point of view. We have not seen this detached angle in a Xeno game, I think, since the Red Rum sequence in Kislev.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
It cuts to Shion's lab, lights out, still loaded with active personnel. Her crew works through the night, I guess. Togashi walks by. But now the silence is replaced with an escalating static, reaching its peak as the camera centers on the KOS-MOS coffin. There's also a heartbeat and increasing in frequency through the mix. The tension's interrupted by Alan.
Yeah, bringing coffee.
Yes, he's got a coffee in his hand. He opens the lab's door and expresses surprise that everyone is still here.
You're all still here?
Hey, how's it going? We're trying to pinpoint today's problem, among other things.
Ah, yes, Chris. The boss sleeps in the comfort of her private room while the workers actually do the work. I bet they have bunk beds.
Yeah.
Alan takes a sip of his coffee and tells the staff that Cherenkov, quote, gave me a piece of his mind earlier. So that already filtered down to Alan.
Yeah.
Togashi commiserates, twisting his chair and telling Alan that Cherenkov is relentless. Alan then imitates Cherenkov's voice and says,
You act like a bunch of college kids. And what, is Vector run by a Girl Scout? He just went on and on.
I noted here that, like, Alan has these very crestfallen coffee eyes. Like, he stares at his coffee for a little bit. Now, I'm not sure if that is just this game's propensity to, like, linger a little bit too much, or if they're really trying to show that Alan is, like, a little bit fucked right now.
I think he puts in 16-hour days.
Yeah.
I don't think Cherenkov fucked with him. I think he's just tired.
Yeah.
The gang agrees that Cherenkov is fucking their shit up, and it's not cool. But Alan says that it's not right for Shion to take all that heat. Alan then logs into his computer and leans back and wonders what was making Cherenkov so nervous.
What was the start of all this?
And as he says this, what's making him so nervous, the camera pans across the KOS-MOS coffin, and then just as the light panels on its side start to turn on, it fades to black.
Yeah, it's like reminding us, oh yeah, we're in the middle of something right now.
Woglinde Bridge, cutscene. The bridge crew are all at their stations typing on computers. A young lady tells us the ship has exited the asteroid field. Murayama is pleased and asks to prepare the gate jump. Another worker directs all ships to enter the approach, and the First Lady says it's 19 minutes, 30 seconds to the column area.
N. Pulse received.
Current coordinates locked. Transfer vector correction to 103. Target Athens column.
Chris, how are we not feeling about the space bridge jargon? Necessary, superfluous, fill in some gaps later? What are we doing? Do you like this shit?
Yes. Begrudgingly, yes.
An honest yes.
Begrudgingly, yes. More. Like, I like it, but also I wish I knew what some of it was. Like, I still don't quite understand the column system when I think maybe the column thing is just like there's different nodes of space that you can gate in and out of.
I think they're like space highways. We're in one for a long period of time later.
Yeah.
Then an alarm sounds, and you know it's not a good alarm because Murayama stands up out of his chair and looks into literal space.
Yeah, it's the same goddamn sound that my refrigerator makes when you leave the door open
too long. Yeah, cool. He says it can't be. Is it them? And them's got to be Gnosis. Them could be UTIC. We don't know what them is yet. But the tech gives us some good news. No, sir, the detection system is silent. There's some checking around the room, and they all wonder if it's a system error. Murayama wants better answers, though. The tech tells him that he doesn't think it's coming from an external source. Jesus, Chris, the call is coming from inside the house.
Oh, no.
My dude runs a search, and he pinpoints the anomaly. It's inside the ship, Sector 3. A second alarm sounds over the existing alarm. Red holographic screens appear everywhere on the bridge. Getting another whiff of Xenogears from when Deus took over the Eldridge.
Xenogears.
8.
Did you read the red screen?
Initiate wireframe viewer? Main systems breach?
Before that.
Oh, no.
The red screen does not say, you shall be as gods. It says, main system approached KOS-MOS.
Oh, yeah, I did get that. Yeah.
Then wireframe viewer.
Yes, initiate wireframe viewer, main systems breach, KOS-MOS unit. So is KOS-MOS doing the breaching or has KOS-MOS been breached?
It says the main system has been breached. Oh, that's a good question.
I think KOS-MOS is breaching the main system.
Yes, I believe KOS-MOS, due to what happens later, KOS-MOS is breaching the safety restraints of the main system.
Yes, and I think KOS-MOS has a reason that KOS-MOS is doing it.
Oh, is there a reason? I think it is, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's the reason of, like, KOS-MOS is...
It has detected the same shit they did and realized it's not an error.
Yeah.
We cut to the lab. Music, Life or Death plays.
Shit's bad.
Yes, it is fucked. The alarms are also going off here. Alan rushes over to the coffin and declares the current situation to be impossible. He demands to know what the hell is going on.
I love how everyone is banging on keyboards during moments of panic. It's something that really gets me going.
Everybody's typing shit to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Tagashi says we have a level 1 KOS-MOS warning status. The bindings are off. He then punches the computer as he says, damn it, it's booting up on its own as he stares down a 10-minute timer. Alan then channels Star Ocean, another space game in space. He asks, what the hell?
What the hell?
He then moves over to stare at KOS-MOS, wondering why any of this is happening all of a sudden. And we're back in Shion's room.
Yep.
It cuts to a ground level shot with Life or Death still blaring at deafening volume.
By the way, Life or Death kind of sounds a little bit like Night of Fire. It's got that...
Yeah, some similar, probably samples of those trumpets.
I think it's the most RPG music that we've heard yet in Xenosaga.
Yeah, the most traditional RPG music, sure. Shion's asleep in her bed with the KOS-MOS out of her bedroom window.
He meant to say KOS-MOS, not KOS-MOS.
But then one of those red holographic screens appears in her bed and the lights in her room flash on automatically. It's like a fire alarm. Shion wakes up and grabs her glasses off the nightstand, then takes her holographic palm computer thing and begins typing shit.
A half a PlayStation controller.
Yeah, it looks like, and then they make those, the ASCII controller. She too pulls the countdown up and wonders how that can be. Shion grabs her work clothes, throws the hanger on the bed, dusts herself off, and gets ready for action. She runs to the other side of the room and kneels down in front of a different computer. One that appears to have a keyboard, Chris. Buttons are still important in the future. It cuts to a shot of Shion in her bedroom from outside the Woglinde as it drifts through space, just as the voice tells us we're at emergency level 3.
Currently, we are at emergency level 3. This circuit is reserved for Class A and B users only. Class C users, please try your call again later.
Yeah, she wants to use it to call Alan, but she can't because...
Right, she's 911's flooded with too many calls.
Yeah.
Apparently, Shion is Class C because she cannot get in. She wonders if someone's activated KOS-MOS, but then Shion realizes that's impossible. Quote, KOS-MOS isn't supposed to wake up unless I enter the activation code from this terminal. That's the failsafe we integrated. This can't be happening. Not again. The funniest thing any scientist or lab tech can say in almost any context is, not again.
Not again.
Shion runs to exit her room. Now we're in the Woglinde cutscene.
Yep.
As soon as she sets foot in the hallway, a series of blast doors begin to close. There are like 6. This is hilarious. It's like that Darth Maul scene. She turns her back on the doors, then pulls out her holopedia and confirms.
It's exactly the same as the last time.
Shion doubles over, and now we're in a flashback.
Yes, a thunder and lightning flashback.
Thunder cracks again. Shion and Kevin are huddled over each other. She puts a hand on her face. It's too dark for me to see how much of anything is happening here. But the camera soon finds its way to KOS-MOS wearing her Terminator visor.
Her Terminator visor looks a little bit different than the one that we've already seen.
Yeah, it's like prototype shit.
Yeah, it's like she's a earlier model of KOS-MOS. She looks a little bit less human.
This is now a horror movie. Lightning strikes and occasionally lights KOS-MOS' terrifying visage. And now we're back with the dissociating Shion on the Woglinde. A third unique alarm then sounds, and Shion wonders what's happening now.
That unique alarm must be from some sort of common sound library, because it's the same one that I play on my Alexa when it's time for my kids to get their asses to school and get in the car and go to school.
Really?
And my dog reacts to it. Like, my dog always runs to the back door. And my dog was in here when I was playing the game. And
so you've got a Gnosis invasion in your house every morning?
And heard it, and then was like, the dog perked up, was like, oh, it's time to go somewhere. But
shit. Back on the bridge, Moriyama has returned to his seat. After hearing the third alarm, he asks what the shit is happening now. He actually repeats the same dialogue Shion did. Also, the camera went from Shion's room to the fleet in space to the bridge, and the reverb on the alarm audio went through like 3 different tones. This is an extraordinary amount of attention to detail and effort.
Yes.
One of Moriyama's dudes yells that he's detected a large-scale spatial distortion ahead of us. An enormous mass is gating out. Moriyama declares this to be impossible as we're still outside the column area. The bridge tech talk is back as someone screams, UMN geodesic structure is being breached.
Yes.
What is a geodesic structure? Look it up. I'm theorizing it to mean something from UMN virtual reality manifesting in physical space.
Geodesic domes were invented by the engineer and mathematician Richard Buckminster Fuller.
Great name.
And patented in 1951 as a means to provide efficient housing structures using fewer resources. This name is used to describe the visual representation of a basic UMN structure since it resembles the shape of a geodesic dome.
So basically it's Wi-Fi?
I think they're using it here as a technobabble term to describe the
UMN's reach.
The dome shape of the UMN reach.
Dome.
So this is perhaps a excessive technobabble.
Excellent dome.
Yeah.
A lady from the tech pit below tells Moriyama the target appears to be interacting with the UMN somehow. Moriyama assumes their shit is being hacked, and he wonders if that's even possible.
Yeah. I also have target is hacking our shit.
Chris, someone then screams there are massive gravity fluctuations and surface anomalies forming in space-time. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, they're going after it. That one you can kind of make sense of. Like that one intuitively, it's like, okay, I kind of see.
Sound it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a great shot of Moriyama's lower face, like just his jaw clench as he stands and takes all of this in. The bridge crew then goes nuts, saying it's like a tidal wave, but then it pulls in on Moriyama's full face as he mouths Gnosis.
Gnosis.
Straight ahead! There it is! Gnosis!
Cuts out to a shot of the fleet in space before a shitload of Gnosis blink into existence, seemingly birthed through the pinkish red light.
They look like space whales.
We got whales, we got pod things from a million years ago, like horseshoe crab type things, like very sea creature based.
Arthropods.
Great, good pull. They have a scream sound effect buried in the mix. And they shoot Stars of David or 6-pointed fireballs at the fleet of ships. Did you get that?
I didn't notice that, Eric, but I'm sure that they did. I would say probably not in any other game, but in this game.
This game, that's deliberate.
Probably.
The ship responds by firing white laser blasts out of the port side holes. There are also pairs of eggs out here blasting Gnosis with laser rifles, which looks pretty cool. Does this do anything? Does shooting the Gnosis with eggs laser rifles, is that...
We heard about anti-Gnosis weapon beams or whatever, but right now the Gnosis are not in normal space, so they can't do shit. So
okay, they're just still in translucent travel mode.
They're using the machine guns too, but they're not working.
Yeah.
I know we're not counting whiffs of Gundam, but mechs standing on the top of a
spaceship firing laser
rifles is very Gundam.
There's one where the ship and the mechs are firing rifles at the sand. It's like, oh man, this is good. This is it. This is what I want to see.
Yeah.
There's a shot where the same eggs endures a barrage of Gnosis blasts, but the blasts are all absorbed into the ship. The undamaged eggs just looks around wondering what the hell just happened. So it's like, they got by me? How? And this really goes to sell how unprepared anyone is for Gnosis contact.
Yeah. They said they weren't prepared, and goddamn it, they were right.
It cuts to the inside of the Woglinde, with the armored soldiers mobilizing. An intercom voice is audible. Quote, shifting to DEFCON 1, Virgil, report your team to Sector D. It then cuts to a shot of a thrilled Virgil putting his helmet on just as the intercom voice commands him to prevent enemy forces from entering the reactor room. Virgil's now in his Augs.
Eggs.
Through its targeting system, he locks onto a trio of blonde-hair, blue-eyed Realians getting all of their shit ready. He says they're going into battle without an eggs unit. What brave little soldiers they are. Brings tears to my eyes. Well, let's see how they do as shields. So instantly, my boy wants to sacrifice these things.
Yeah. During this whole thing, we're getting a lot of mecha anime camera angles, which the most famous one being close-up of face inside mech.
While information is reflected on their pupils?
Yes, I think it was made famous by, that one guy, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark.
That's right. He was the first person to ever do that.
Yes. Yes.
It then cuts to a few shots of Realians marching through the Woglinde. We get some pretty extreme camera angles as insect-like Gnosis march on the ceiling, down hallways, and past some terrified Realians. Are they terrified, or is hiding just a self-preservation thing?
I think they're probably actually terrorized because they're bred to be like this, right?
Yeah.
They're bred to be human.
It cuts to a shot of human soldiers unloading rifles at Gnosis, which I think they're just firing real bullets. It sounds like SMG fire. Chris, is it bad to fire real bullets all over a spaceship?
Probably.
That's what I was thinking as well, unless the walls are bulletproof for some reason.
I don't know. We see a window get blown out later.
That's a window. These are walls.
Oh, okay.
Guns permitted inside the hallways. When the bullets make contact with Gnosis, they're absorbed and dissolved. There's like an oil and water series of iridescent reflections on the Gnosis body at contact.
Yeah.
Then cuts to a really neat shot of hallways bookended by like a door frame or something on either side of a stationary shot. The soldiers move backwards, eventually out of the frame, unloading their guns. The Gnosis enter the frame as soon as the soldiers leave it, marching forward. Again, high-quality camera decisions.
Yeah.
When they're firing, it cuts to a shot of the ceiling, and a pocket of it starts to warp around. It cuts to a point-of-view shot of the ceiling, looking down at the red-haired soldier. He looks up just in time to see the big boy Gnosis come down and pancake him. It even makes a splat scream sound effect.
There is a lot of meat smashing going on.
A lot of like hitting two pieces of meat together and recording it. It cuts to a shot of the remaining soldiers realizing they're outgunned, doomed. A bronze Gnosis then materializes and slashes at them with suction cup fingertip tentacle hands.
Ugh.
It grabs my dude with blue hair by the head, lifts him up, and snaps his neck. We only see the lower half of his body, but it quite horrifically turns limp.
When they show that upper angle of the Gnosis coming down to
splat
the man, you can see at that point in time that they did not have the budget or time or wherewithal to have
exploded, dude.
No, to have the guys holding the rifle with a closed hand.
Right
in the front of it. His hand is just open and it's just laying on top of it.
Yeah, that's just how the rigging went on that.
Yeah.
The body of this man that turned limp goes full Optimus Prime as we see it. From the legs upward, turn white while it's being skull gripped by the Gnosis. The Gnosis then squeezes and the body explodes into crystals. What?
Yeah,
is that a Realian thing or a human thing? Does it only crystallize?
I don't know. I haven't seen that happen to a human yet, but maybe it is a Realian thing. Or maybe they're just like sucking all the moisture out of them.
And they're just so dry and you can go huff some dudes.
Yeah, they're all ashy.
The last remaining guy realizes he's surrounded on all sides by Gnosis. The camera shifts to a point of view shot behind his eyes just as we see the hammering Gnosis fist pound the holy fucking shit out of him. It's a neat shot where all we see are the crystal shards fly up in the air and then fall back down. The music stops, and we're back in open space. The Woglinde glides along, and Eggs patrols in front, searching for more targets. But then a total barrage of Gnosis projectiles flies in its direction, and one catches the Eggs in its midsection, at which point the crane's limp short circuits and explodes into space. Now we're going to play this game and get through all this stuff in the next episode of this podcast.
But first, the RealNet.
Initializing RealNet.
Hello, RealNet. How you doing today? Eric Van says they're really laying on those Gnosis who totally aren't here right now. Sure would kill us if they were here right now. Better hope those Gnosis who aren't here don't show up.
They'll definitely never be here.
Yeah. Shiga32 says Dämmerung is German for twilight or dusk. You may have heard the word Götterdämmerung, which means Twilight of the Gods, and was the title of Wagner's last Nibelungen operas.
Twilight of the Idols? Are our idols also gods?
Yes.
Cool. Great.
78 says stop all the downloading.
Stop all the downloading.
You know.
G.I. Joe video.
The attachment files. Andy Hoof says Virgil is freakier on the street, but Cherenkov is freakier in the sheets.
I would buy that.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Virgil probably spends a lot of time on Style Project, whereas Cherenkov just looks at like regular stuff.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Good one, Eric.
Thanks.
7-8 says, filial piety is the cornerstone of Confucian philosophy, obviously very influential in Japan. I could see Jin's entire thing being a Confucian. Like that would work well for him.
That's his chosen set of principles.
Yes. 7-8 says, the weird old books are the Bible.
Yeah.
Andy Hoof says, Jin is well-versed in ancient philosophy, such as the writings of Jordan B. Peterson.
Oh.
7-8 says, KOS-MOS is hacking your modem.
Pick up the phone, cancel the upload.
Andy Hoof says, one of the eggs took damage, but they couldn't put it back together again.
Is there a ban button? Can we eject?
I could ban anybody. I'm just kidding. Andy Hoof says, all this stuff going on right now is obviously a false flag. Eric Vanon says, Gnosis are just Antifa.
If they were real Gnosis, we'd be able to see them. It's an op.
That's true. Well, Eric, this episode has been a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on July 10th, 2023. You can find us on Twitter. We're still there occasionally, at Retro Amnesia Pod. You can contact us there as well, or at the email address podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com. You can also support us on patreon.com/retroam and get early access. You can get early access to the episodes, and they're ad-free. I gotta figure this out.
That's good. And we also get bonus episodes and miniseries, which are different things.
Different things of this. And access to the Real Net, of course. Join us live. And you can thank Mark. Shepard. Because I'm thanking Mark Shepard right now. Thank you, Mark Shepard, for the introductory music. And
You're welcome. Okay, I got it.
Till next time, Eric.
Yes, we will kill God.
And now you may go back to sleep. I can just press stop. You can get early access, ad-free, bonus. No.
I fucking hate Alf. Go ahead.
You hate Alf?
Yeah.
I got an Alf figure up there.
I know, that's what reminded me of it. I don't like him.
Oh.
He also has that thing where if I see his full body, it's like the forbidden Muppet zone where I don't want to, like, it's like waist up.
You don't want to see Kermit's legs?
Fuck no. Well, Kermit's legs are okay. It's shit like Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
When you get a full Cookie Monster, it's like none of that should be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. You need the legs to be controlled by a string.
Or a wire.
Wire. Yeah. Okay.
Was there a guy in Alf or was it a hand puppet? They put a man in Alf. Was there a man inside Alf?
I don't think there was a man in Alf, but I feel like there were some Alf leg shots.
Yeah.
At some point. So, I don't know. I don't want to know either. Well, the hammer. Okay, well, you want to hear some hot sounds?
Yes, that was beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you.
File that away. Yeah, I wish I could find the fucking Freemason books. If I could find the Freemason books, those would give us some good content.
I mean, your wife is a pretty good, like, get rid of shit we don't need person, maybe one of the best. So I'm surprised you have that, honestly.
It was on a bookshelf. That's why I still have it. Because
books are sacred knowledge.
Yeah. The one in red hair, the one in the red hair on the right.
Nope, try again. From the consumption of Realian. Do you still have that Blu-ray? Are you in possession of that again?
No, I was
damn it.
Actually randomly listened to a episode of Chrono Cross the other day of our podcast, and
recorded in 2020.
I don't remember what I was looking for, but I was talking about how I need to get that back from Kyle. And and every time I see Kyle, he's like, "I forgot your Blu-rays." And I was like, "Yeah, I forgot to text you to remind you." So he still got it.
I mean, it is, once you get into your 40s, it is about normal to wait half a decade to retrieve a personal item from someone's house. So that makes sense.
It's possible that my Shin Ultraman Blu-ray will arrive before I get the Shin Godzilla Blu-ray back from him.
Kevin said my dead uncle's memory card for 2 decades.
When my kids were being ultrasounded
inside the wife
in the belly,
the
ultrasound tech was like, "I'll be right back."
Good.
And that was terrifying.
That's great. How long did they leave you hanging there? 2 minutes, 8 minutes?
It was probably 2 minutes, but it felt like a lot longer than that. Ultimately, they were seeing that one of my kids had 2 gallbladders.
Cool. Bonusbladder.com.
So he seems fine.
You still got 2 of those, or how's that going?
I still got 2 of them.
Don't tell me which one. I don't want to know.
Okay. They were going to re-image him when he's like 8 or 9.
Son, you're going to get re-imaged. We got to go to the store.
Yeah. He ended up getting an MRI like when he was like 18 months old or something. But he's fine.
Did he go all the way in? I guess he had to.
Yeah, but little kids they put under for
tight.
That. Yeah.
Otherwise it poisons their mind.
What?
Huh?
You said not in the podcast?
Yeah, I made a reference to the last words that finalize the podcast.
Sorry.
You can probably cut that right over your head. The man who says it every time can't get it. Dude, my notes are fucked.
Popular.
Podcasts are hard, dude.
That word is hard.
Yeah.
Popular. It was made famous by
This fleet may be newly outfitted, but it was assembled under major time constraints. And we have AUGS units. Excuse me. And we have, I'm going to replace this dialogue with this dialogue anyway. I can say whatever I want.
Eggs.
And we have eggs units. But the 100 series observational units that go with them aren't available until later.
Playtime's over!